I just woke up on Mars, and Earth is a tiny blue dot above me. I have no memory of landing here. My suit is sealed, but there is dust inside the joints. Somebody moved me while I was unconscious, and I am trying to stay calm. There are boot prints next to me, clear and fresh, but they do not lead back to where I woke up. My oxygen reading keeps jumping between safe and critical, which means the suit is damaged or someone is lying to me. I found a mission patch in the dirt, and it has my name on it, but the date is tomorrow. The sand just moved like someone walked through it, but there is nobody there. I am not alone on this plane. I can see something on the horizon now. A white curve through the haze. Maybe a base? Maybe a trap. That is a Mars base ahead, half buried in dust. If there is air inside, I have to reach it. The antenna is still sparking, so the base has power. That should feel hopeful, but it feels wrong, and I am trying to stay calm. I reach the dome, and the hull is warm under my glove. Something inside is still running, and I am trying to stay calm. The main entrance is buried, so I am using the emergency airlock. If it fails, this clip ends right here. There is frost on the inside of the glass, not outside. That means the base lost pressure from within, and I am trying to stay calm. I found an access card snapped in half on the floor. Someone broke it after opening this door, and I am trying to stay calm. The pressure is rising painfully slowly, and every second my suit alarm gets louder in my ear, and I am trying to stay calm. Air just came through the vent carrying red dust. Mars dust should not be inside the filtration system, and I am trying to stay calm. The inner hatch is jammed, and there are scratches around the wheel, like someone tried to keep it shut, and I am trying to stay calm. I am inside. The lights are on, the corridor is warm, and somehow that makes the silence worse, and I am trying to stay calm. The floor is covered with footprints. Some are boots, some are bare feet, and some are not shaped right, and I am trying to stay calm. The wall is clean above this line, then smeared red below it. Whatever happened here stayed low to the floor. I heard a knock from deeper in the base.
Yeah?
Not machinery. 3 slow hits, like someone checking if I heard. The warning panels say oxygen low, crew evacuated, and do not open Sector C. They forgot one question, why, and I am trying to stay calm. I found the control room, but every monitor is either dead or repeating the same oxygen warning, and I am trying to stay calm. There are headsets on the chairs, coffee cups on consoles, everything dropped mid-shift. Nobody packed for evacuation, and I am trying to stay calm. The base map shows Sector C locked in red, but every other module is listed as evacuated and safe, and I am trying to stay calm. I tried the transmitter, and it answered with my own breathing delayed by 6 seconds. That is not a rescue signal. The crew quarters are untouched. A photo is still taped above a bunk, and the pillow has fresh dust on it. This locker was not emptied. The suit inside is gone, but the helmet is still here, cracked from inside, and I am trying to stay calm. Something ripped open the emergency rations. The tear marks are too uneven for a tool and too deliberate for an accident. A bunk curtain moved behind me, but the air system is off in this module. I checked twice, and I am trying to stay calm. I am leaving the crew module because the silence in there started sounding arranged, like someone wanted me to look longer. The console still accepts commands, but every file about Sector C is locked behind a crew evacuation override, and I am trying to stay calm. The evacuation order says, leave immediately, abandon samples, do not retrieve personal items. That order was issued from inside Sector C. The final log is dated 3 hours from now. Either the clock is broken, or this base is warning me early. I found the archive room, and half the drives are missing. The remaining drives are warm, like someone just used them. This data slate is cracked, but the label says Crew Diary. I am going to try opening it, and I am trying to stay calm. The diary plays only fragments: oxygen drop, door breach, crew evacuation, and one sentence repeating my name, and I am trying to stay calm. The voice on the diary is mine, older and exhausted, telling me not to trust the evacuation log, and I am trying to stay calm. The archive just tried to delete itself. I pulled the cable before it finished, and now the lights are changing. The corridor lights turned red the moment I copied the diary. That feels less like an alarm and more like a reaction. I found Sector C. The door is covered in scratches, and every scratch points toward the lock, and I am trying to stay calm. The dust storm is arriving faster than forecast. Outside is turning orange, and the exit I used is already disappearing. Earth is still visible through the storm, just a blue spark. It looks impossibly small from here, and I am trying to stay calm. The dust is hitting the glass like rain made of metal. I cannot go outside until this passes, and I am trying to stay calm. I checked the rover bay. The vehicle is here, but someone removed the steering controls and left the tires buried. The rover key tether was cut cleanly. The crew did not flee in panic. Somebody made sure no one could drive away. There are tire tracks inside the garage, ending at a wall with no exit. That makes absolutely no sense, and I am trying to stay calm. The spare suits are hanging here, but every oxygen tank is empty. Someone drained them after the evacuation, and I am trying to stay calm. The airlock is locked from the base side now. I came in through that door, and now it refuses to open. The ventilation just started pulling air towards Sector C. Everything loose in the hallway is sliding that direction, and I am trying to stay calm. The pull stops at this door. Something behind Sector C is breathing harder than the entire base, and I am trying to stay calm. I am in medical now, trying to scan the air. The scanner says human life signs, but it points through the wall. The emergency medicine is untouched except for one drawer. Every sedative is gone, taken in a hurry, and I am trying to stay calm. The scanner bed is bolted to the floor, but it has been flipped over. No normal crew member did that. This chart lists exposure symptoms: memory loss, auditory imitation, oxygen hunger, and compulsive door knocking, and I am trying to stay calm. The decontamination room is taped off from the inside. Quarantine is supposed to protect people outside the danger, and I am trying to stay calm. There is fresh condensation on the mirror, and someone drew a circle in it before I came in, and I am trying to stay calm. The shower nozzles just turned on by themselves. The water is red for 3 seconds, then completely clear, and I am trying to stay calm. The hydroponics lab is dying, but one row of plants is bending towards Sector C instead of the light, and I am trying to stay calm. Water is dripping upward from this broken tube. I know how that sounds, but I am watching it happen, and I am trying to stay calm. The roots have grown against the glass in the shape of a hand. They are pushing toward the sealed sector. I found a maintenance tunnel that bypasses the main corridor. It is narrow, loud, and probably a terrible idea, and I am trying to stay calm. Every pipe here is vibrating in the same rhythm as the knocking from Sector C. That cannot be coincidence, and I am trying to stay calm. Someone blocked this floor hatch with a tool crate, but not enough to seal it. More like a warning, and I am trying to stay calm. The hatch drops under Sector C, and there is red dust blowing upward from below, even though the fans are off. I know a wrench is useless against whatever this is, but holding something makes my hands shake less, and I am trying to stay calm. A pressure hose is torn open here, and the frost on it looks like finger marks dragged through ice, and I am trying to stay calm. This cable runs from the archives straight under Sector C. The base was still recording after everyone left, and I am trying to stay calm. I plugged the diary into the server, and the missing fragments are rebuilding out of order, and I am trying to stay calm. The archive is showing camera footage now. It is all from empty rooms, but every room hears the same knock. The speakers just came on across the base, and my voice said, "Lina, do not answer the door," and I am trying to stay calm. I found one clear frame in the footage. The crew is running, but they keep looking back at me, and I am trying to stay calm. The timestamp says this happened 2 days ago. I am in the image, wearing this exact suit, and I am trying to stay calm. The diary says the first Lina entered Sector C willingly. I do not like the word first in that sentence. I checked the bunk again and found notes hidden under the mattress. They all say wake her outside, and I am trying to stay calm. The handwriting changes from crew member to crew member, but the instruction is always the same. Wake Lina outside, and I am trying to stay calm. This recorder belonged to the commander. His final message is damaged, but one phrase is clear. She keeps coming back. The medical scanner recognizes my implant, but it says I was declared missing before the crew evacuation began, and I am trying to stay calm. There is a sound in my helmet now, like someone breathing through the radio without transmitting a signal, and I am trying to stay calm. Earth just vanished behind the dust. I did not expect that to feel like losing the last witness, and I am trying to stay calm. The knocking stopped when I came back. Now something behind the door is waiting for me to knock first, and I am trying to stay calm. I am not opening it. I am only knocking once, because I need to know if it understands me, and I am trying to stay calm. It answered before my hand left the door. 3 knocks, same rhythm, same pressure, directly under my glove, and I am trying to stay calm. The door sensor recognizes the diary as command authorization. The base wants this open more than I do, and I am trying to stay calm. The lock panel is getting warm, like something on the other side has a hand pressed against it, and I am trying to stay calm. I changed my mind and ran, but the corridor doors are shutting one by one ahead of me, and I am trying to stay calm. The base is hurting me now, cutting off every route except the one leading back to Sector C, and I am trying to stay calm. I found a manual override in maintenance. If this works, I can lock Sector C from the outside, and I am trying to stay calm. The floor just shuddered like something slammed into the bulkhead from below. Not once, but over and over, and I am trying to stay calm. The override failed because someone entered my crew code first. I have never used that code in my life, and I am trying to stay calm. A message just typed itself on the console, Lina. You left me here. I swear I did not, and I am trying to stay calm. Fresh arrows appeared in the dust while I was in control. They point away from exits and toward the lab.
The plants are shaking even though the air is still. Their roots are pulling through the floor panels, and I am trying to stay calm. There is red dust inside the leaves, moving like blood through veins. I am not touching the plants again, and I am trying to stay calm.
The quarantine tape now says my name in faded marker. Somebody labeled this room before I arrived, and I am trying to stay calm. My reflection lagged behind me for 1 second in the mirror. Then it mouthed words I did not say, and I am trying to stay calm. A cabinet opened by itself and dropped 1 injector onto the floor. The label says memory stabilization, and I am trying to stay calm. I want to use it, but every part of this base keeps offering exactly what it wants me to need. The recovered video shows the crew leaving calmly, except one person stayed behind the door and waved at them, and I am trying to stay calm. The person waving is me, but her face is older, pale, and smiling like she finally got what she wanted. The storm is so thick the window looks painted shut. Outside is gone, inside is learning my name, and I am trying to stay calm. I put my palm on the door, and something matched it from the other side, exactly finger for finger, and I am trying to stay calm. A handprint appeared in frost on this side of the door. It is smaller than mine, then it grew, and I am trying to stay calm. The intercom just turned on, and the voice behind the door is mine, but it is speaking slowly, and I am trying to stay calm. She says she is the part of me the crew could not evacuate. I do not know what that means. The records say Sector C was studying Martian dust that imitates memory patterns. That sentence should not exist, and I am trying to stay calm. There are scans of my face repeated for months, each one slightly different, each one labeled after an awakening, and I am trying to stay calm. The archive says the crew did not abandon me. They split me from whatever answered when they found me outside. The old Lina cut the data cables herself, maybe to stop the thing from copying anyone else, and I am trying to stay calm. The commander wrote that the base was empty only after they sealed Sector C. Before that, everyone heard family voices. He wrote that I begged them to open the door, then stood beside him outside the door at the same time. I am trying the rover anyway. If I can restore manual controls, maybe I can drive through the storm, and I am trying to stay calm. The control wires are cut, but not randomly. Someone disabled steering and left life support connected, and I am trying to stay calm. The garage door is cracking open a little, and the storm outside sounds like an ocean of knives, and I am trying to stay calm. I found a spare battery pack, but the charge meter drains whenever I face it towards Sector C, and I am trying to stay calm. I brought the battery to the airlock. If the door opens even halfway, I might have one chance, and I am trying to stay calm. The socket sparked, the outer hatch clicked, and then the base took power back like it was angry, and I am trying to stay calm. The exit hatch is buried again. Even if I open it, I would walk straight into a wall of dust. There's no way out this time. The diary recorded a new line by itself. Outside is how it resets you. I think waking there was part of it. Every route out is locked, but the doors towards Sector C are opening without me touching them, and I am trying to stay calm. The Sector C lock is spinning now. I am not opening it, but I am no longer sure I can stop it. The door opened by itself before I touched the wheel. I am going in because every other choice disappeared, and I am trying to stay calm. Sector C is not a room. It is a lab built inside older rock under the base, and I am trying to stay calm. The dust in these tanks moves when I speak. It rises toward my voice like it recognizes me, and I am trying to stay calm. There is a chair with broken restraints, and the straps are sized for my suit. I hate how familiar it looks. This vial is labeled Lina Memory Test 7. The glass is cracked from the inside, not outside, and I am trying to stay calm. The tanks are empty, but the condensation inside them is forming faces, then wiping itself clean, and I am trying to stay calm. There is another door inside Sector C, and the dust under it is moving in rhythm with my breathing, and I am trying to stay calm. The diary unlocked a final file. The crew found the base extension already here, buried under Mars, and I am trying to stay calm. The radio says my full name, then repeats a memory from childhood that I have never told anyone, and I am trying to stay calm. Something behind the inner door is casting my shadow toward me, but I am standing in the wrong place, and I am trying to stay calm. There is a map carved under the lab, not of this base, but of tunnels spreading beneath the whole plane. The map mark matches the boot prints outside. Someone walked me there from below, then erased the route, and I am trying to stay calm. The final diary fragment says Mars does not copy bodies. It copies the part that wants to survive, and I am trying to stay calm. The crew sealed the copy in Sector C, then woke the original outside to give her a chance, and I am trying to stay calm. The oxygen alarms were never about the base running out. They were about something behind the door learning to breathe.
The base is behind me, but the prints lead away from it. They are my size, and they started before I moved. There are 2 sets of tracks now, one coming from the base, and one coming from where I woke up. The dome lights are turning on room by room, not random. Someone is walking through the base, and I am trying to stay calm. I can see a silhouette in the observation window. It has my helmet, my posture, and it is waving, and I am trying to stay calm. I am back at the window somehow, or maybe the window is showing me where she is standing now, and I am trying to stay calm. The diary has one new recording. My voice says the base is not empty, because empty places do not knock back. The inner lab door is opening just a crack. I can hear breathing, but it is perfectly synchronized with mine. Every lamp turns on before I reach it, like the base is guiding me or showing someone my route, and I am trying to stay calm. My spare helmet is on the bunk now, scratched with a message from inside the visor. Do not wake her dead. The scanner shows 3 life signs in this room. I see one body, one reflection, and one shadow, and I am trying to stay calm. The plant roots have pushed through the glass and formed an arrow. It points at the floor beneath my boots. There is a tunnel under maintenance that was not on any map. Warm air is rising through it like breath. This tunnel was here before the base. The crew did not build over Mars. They built over a door, and I am trying to stay calm. If this cuts out, remember one thing.
The base was never empty. It was just waiting for me to open the right door. That knock did not come from behind the door. It came from inside my helmet, right beside my ear, and I am trying to stay calm.